Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining me. I see we've got a couple of guys here. Let me kill the sound quickly, this music. See, we mismatched the sound this time. No worries. Welcome. Guys. Zibo asked me some questions that I couldn't answer based upon last night's video. When I went back, I didn't have the correct save points and things to actually look at. So that's what we're going to do now. It's the same version as last night, but we need to pay attention specifically to all the little green marks and the wording and everything that's on or off the magenta line. And then we have to do that direct to again to make sure that it works, and then check all the little green marks and circles and dots and things. So I'm just taking it easy, and I'm glad if you guys find value and entertainment in the stream. Most of the other guys on Discord are all flying already, and they're all in different directions. So I'm literally sitting alone here, and if it weren't for you guys, I would be completely alone. So feel free to chat, ask questions, make suggestions, whatever it is. But you know, I'm going to concentrate a little bit here and there, and it might go a bit quiet, so to speak. So just bear with me on that side of things. We need to wait for alignment. Right, so while we're waiting, hello Krister, while we're waiting, I'm actually going to do the forecast page already, because this is such a short flight. There's no point in wasting time once we get up there. Hi Andrew. I'm glad, man, I'm glad. If you guys have questions, you mustn't be shy. There's no such thing as a dumb question, you know, and I bet if somebody asks a question, 10 other guys will learn from it as well. So if you guys have questions, go for it. If I don't have the answer, I'll find one of the pilots and, you know, real world guys, and we'll ask the questions. Hello Hendrik, and thank you, and hello Razor. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope all goes well. We're gonna have to just pay a little bit special attention on a couple of things. So far so good. Right, winds. See if I can put that on the screen for you guys. Thanks, Krister. 359 at 20. One 0 1 1 at 15. Execute. Right, so now we know that is already in the system as well. I think alignment should be almost done and ready to go. Yeah, it looks like it. It's done. I just need to get my volume back up here so I can also hear what's potting. Don't worry, Krister, not a problem, my friend. I appreciate the thought.
The cockpit, Crow is driving up.
Captain Hatcher on the fasten seatbelt sign. Would you ask that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten
Michael, no, it gets updated every time I do the OFP. I like to fly with real weather, or at least as close to possible as real weather. As a matter of interest, if you know where to look, you'll see when it was updated. So this is obviously the OFP that comes from SimBrief, And over there, you'll see the weather observation was made on the 27th at 1200 Zulu. So what's the Zulu time now? The Zulu time should now be about 1700. So there's the difference between 1200 and 1700. That's the amount of hours the sim brief is backed up. But I obviously have access to Active Sky, which is more relevant. I think just to make things simple, it's easier to just use the OFB and the information they give. But for each flight, I create a brand new OFB, definitely. No, I don't use any historical. It's real weather. Everything is set to real. The historical, sorry, I might have now spoken stupid. The weather that you get from SimBrief when you look at the observation time, as I've highlighted there, obviously it's going to be a little bit old, so it is more historical than current. Active Sky is obviously more current because that's the weather in the system. But there's no point in splitting hairs for, 5 hours. That's interesting. I don't mess around with the weather settings that much. I mean, my Active Sky and somebody don't even know that they exist. They don't talk to each other, so I don't have issues like that. Interesting. Right, I think we can do the pre-flight procedure. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Pre-flight procedure.
No. We don't want. We want a before start procedure.
All commands and checklists aborted.
Before start procedure. That's the one we wanted.
Before start procedure.
Starting pushback. And you may start engines.
Before start procedure completed.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine. N2.
Thank you, dear Linda.
Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine. N2.
Yeah, if I don't put it on the safe flight page, I'm gonna definitely forget. I think that's a better idea.
Starter cutout.
There.
Engine start procedure completed.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Hey, Steve. It's all cumulative. Everything gets added together. I just was unable to give satisfactory answers to Zibo. My standards are too high. When I realized I couldn't give him everything, I just said, you know what, let's just fly again, get better video, do better saves and recalls and stuff, you know, so we can actually analyze it a little bit better. So it's the same version that we flew last night, but we need to pay better attention to a few things.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
I know I mentioned it earlier, but I can't now recall if I did it on stream or not. So I'm going to quickly give you guys a recap of the aim of what we want to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say start saving flights from when we get onto the runway, so we have a better takeoff position. I'm going to save a flight just before top-off climb, maybe let's say at about 20,000 feet. The idea is to see that we can see top-off climb, top-off descent, all the deceleration points, everything that needs to be on the magenta line, and that will be during normal flight. So we're not going to be bothered with VNAV and speed restrictions or stuff like that, because Zibo's still working on that, but we need to see that all the little green markers and all the words are on or at the right place next to the magenta line. Then we're going to land, then we're going to start recalling the flights, and we're going to start at 20,000 feet again. We're going to check that all the markers are there. What we're then going to do is we're going to do a direct to, and when we do the direct to, those markers must not disappear. We need to see the same green marks and writing as we did during the normal flight, after the fact that we changed the direct to, you know, we changed one of the waypoints. And that's basically what I could not answer because I didn't, you know, have a good enough save to look at in the video from last night. So here we go. Krister, yes, I've got the same feeling, but the thing is we don't have proof, and that's, you know, Zibo, and I agree with him. I'm the same. I'm a very fussy person, and everything needs to be perfect. I'm also that a kind of perfectionist in my own right as well, and if things are not right, it's not right, because even if we use the mercy and grace that we have and we overlook something, the next guy down the line is going to say, oh hell, this is done wrong, you know, and then the poor boy hits the fan again. So it better make it work right. Hello Mac, I'm glad you're here. It's nice to have you here because then you can also help with extra pair of eyes here in Discord with me. I'm going to try stream it here for you live, so you don't have the delay, Mac.
Approaching runways.
See if you can see that before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure.
Did you hear what the mission is? Or must I repeat for you?
On runway 28.
Okay, you got it. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to park here, make sure everything is set
Before
and
takeoff
settled.
procedure completed.
Thank you, Linda. So everything is done. Yeah, Krista, and remember now, we're not going to worry anything about speed restrictions, speeds, VNAV. We don't care. All we want to see is that all the markings is on the magenta line where they should be, and the writing in relation to that should be correct. So, I mean, we want it nice. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. See TRN and Lanak.
On runway
50.
28. On runway 28.
Right, yeah. So now we're bypassing the VNAV and we just playing it a bit differently. Okay, so thank you, Hendrik. I did click it, but let's click it again. So we've got the first save. Let's go.
Stabilized. Takeoff thrust set. knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
There we go.
Runway turn off, lights off.
Yeah, sorry, Krister. Somebody contacted me on Messenger and I just took my eye off the ball there for a second.
Flaps up. And set. Approaching transition. Transition altitude.
Cheers, Krister. Right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we can quickly look at them. So the first one is top of the climb. It's on the magenta. Top of descent is on the magenta. Decel there is on the magenta. It's a bit flippin' blurry from here, but those ones were definitely on the magenta for your 10,000 foot transition. So I don't see anyone in particular that's shouting at me saying, hey, I'm in the wrong place. It looks good to me. What do you think, Mac? Guys on stream? Hmm. Yeah. Hold on. Top of climb. Top of descent. Yeah, hold on. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There's a deceleration point. Yeah, there's your 10,000 foot. Okay, now if you look at the plan view, you see they're kind of off center. So I don't know how pedantic you want to be, but I mean they're touching the line, but mm, yeah, yeah, that's right. The diesel Vulkan isn't there. Just want to take a screenshot. Yeah. Sure, but I still want to have it as a reference. So there we go. Right, so the basics are there. There's your end of descent. Everything is there. Yeah, there's nothing for the 7,000 foot or the 15,000 foot. That's not mentioned at this point in time. So, coming back to your idea of a limited list, it's a good one. Now he's unmuted. Sorry, Mac. There was nobody with me earlier, so that's why I never unmuted the Discord, you know. There you go, Yorkie is up open now. So, yeah, as we get closer, we're going to keep our eyes on the screen and see when they populate, if they populate, things like that. Because if it is a condition that needs to be met before they display, it would be good to know as well.
But if you think of the real aircraft, you're limited as to how much memory you've got for everything. I've no doubt there's a list, and maybe it goes to 10 items, and then you have to wait until something's cleared
Before it shows the next one in the 10 that's available. Yeah.
Hi, Yorkie. That's how it's been working from what I could determine recently.
I'm with you. I just want to quickly get to 20,000 and then make the next save. So there's the next save. Our next save will be before top of descent. So just after that thing, Kotna. In fact, you know what? I'll probably do it before we get to Kotna to give us time to replan something if we have to.
if you do it just before Gotner, then when you go back, you can do that direct to LANAV
Yeah.
from Gotner, for example.
Yeah, but I want to do direct to blocker as well as one in one of the tests. So
Yeah,
we'll use this
that's
save
fine.
point, and then we'll use the next one, somewhere there for that one.
Yeah,
Somewhere there at Gotner.
yeah, I was going to say just before Gotner, about 2 or
yeah.
3 miles before Gotner. Yeah. Oh, for anybody that was here yesterday, let's see if anybody speaks up. If they don't, then I won't make the next comment.
Okay. I think in terms of at least 3 or 4 guys whose names are on the list here already, they've definitely been here, but I'm not sure the rest. See, Steve is definitely one.
Okay, my comment about when you did your holding pattern yesterday, Nico.
Yeah.
And I said I questioned it just to
Yep.
put everybody at ease.
Okay.
It's
1000 to level off.
the way it flew it yesterday was compliant with the regulations as they are. I cannot criticize. It's not what I expected, but there is actually, it was on the line where it meant that it could do one of 2 ways of approaching the hold pattern. So just take it that I do not criticize the way Zibo currently handles that approach into the hold.
Excellent. Well, Michael, I programmed it according to the requirements on the chart. Okay, and Mac, I initially said it's going to turn left and then right and just go clockwise around. But Mac said no, it's supposed to do the teardrop diagonally across. Some other guys then had a split on that, and I think that's why Mac went to investigate a bit more.
It's because the approach to the hold was at exactly 70 degrees, and the defining thing is that within 5 degrees you can go into the procedure, hold procedure, by 2 different means. But it did it in compliance with stated requirements, but it wasn't the shortest route or the way I expected it to do it, to be honest. to bank left and then right again quickly didn't seem to be the practical way to enter that hold.
Well, it's now a question, Michael, of air law or expected maneuver versus practicality. And according to what Mac just explained, being at 70 degrees on the entry point and then being within 5 degrees of the next requirement, you know, could have made the aircraft gone either or, you know, it's just either or. And we noticed that it went one way. So right, TD, D-cell, those guys, we don't have any specific next top of descent or deceleration point that's marked there, only the circles. Okay.
Well, if at the end of the stream, Nico, there's enough people interested, do you want to go back and do the whole pattern just out of interest?
Yeah, we can.
If
We're going to
people
set
are
up quite a few
interested,
different save situations.
Yeah.
So.
Depends whether you're bored or feel you need to get away.
My biggest problem is I'm starting to yawn, so I hope you guys don't hear it. I'm trying to dampen that, but I'm okay. I think we can do this.
And by which time we've given Zibo time to come out with fix 15.
Aha.
I'm okay with that, Nico, if you're up to it.
Good.
Hello, Mac.
Hello, Dimitri.
Michael, that's the whole point, because if you look at the parameters of how these things are designed and the things that you need to meet, the parameters you need to meet, the if, then, this, that, you know, if, then, or if this, then that needs to happen. Yeah, I'm falling over my tongue here. If this, then that, you know, that whole argument needs to be played, you know. So if you come in from a different direction, a different angle, things like that, things will change.
Yes, Michael, exactly. It's just that in this particular fix, the inbound track was, let me go check it out.
You said 70 degrees there. Look, the moment we started the descent, it dynamically calculated the top of descent for flight level 150. You see there, so it's in place, it's on the magenta line, so
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. We've got our green banana. We still don't have a deceleration at Lanark, a decel. But that was a condition that came in with top of descent.
Yeah, well that's the first one that's filled in since we set off, isn't it?
Yes, yes, the first new one. You know what I don't have here, Mac? I don't have a cup of coffee here. So at some point in time,
half a cup left.
cool. I think after the first landing, before we start using the safe flight situations and do the testing, I just want to go make myself a cup of coffee. So we'll take a 5-minute smoke break.
That sounds like a good scheme.
Yeah, and then we can go at it again. Hello, Andy. Andy, I doubt this will be the final test flight because the VNAV is not fixed yet. So I have to answer certain questions to Zibo, and that's why I'm just redoing last night's flight, because when I went back and looked at the video, I couldn't answer some of the questions because of the way it was done. You know, I didn't realize Zibo didn't watch the whole thing and all these things. So. Thank you, Dimitri. Yeah, those True Earth files are big, man. Wow, I tell you. But it is so worthwhile. I mean, if you just look at those wind turbines there, the detail and the thing. I've never been to the UK. I don't know if it's supposed to look like this, but I mean, if it's baffling my brain, you know, it's one of those things. I wouldn't know any better, but it looks spectacular. It really looks good, eh?
And not only that, but what other scenery can you go and fly down Loch Lomond and see Nessie if you haven't got True Earth?
Is Nessie in the scenery?
Nessie's in True Earth scenery, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, then we must do that.
Sorry, I'm
Haven't
really
you ever
not with
seen
it today.
it, Nico?
No. Send me a flight plan sometime when you're bored and you have nothing better to do.
Oh, you just take off from Inverness and fly down Loch Lomond in a slow aircraft. We'll find it for you.
Okay. I want to tell you something. I don't have the True Earth for P3D, but we've been doing some P3D tests here as well, and Mac even commented on how good the actual UK scenery looks there. I did buy some UK add-on from Orbix, but it wasn't the True Earth one. It's the one just before that. I don't know what you called it, but anyway. And I tell you what, it also really looks really decent.
If you look at Google Maps, Andy, and work out where Urquhart Castle is on the side of Loch Lomond, then you will see Nessie in the True Earth scenery just north of there in the middle of the loch.
Okay. Right, I'm going to... Sorry, Mac. I'm going to save...
You carry on with your flight.
Yeah, I'm going to save flight situation 4 over here. So that's at 15,000 in the level and straight. So we have 4. And I think that should be it. I'm not going to bother to save anymore. So we've got on the runway just at 20,000 foot before top of descent and before top of descent. So that should give us a couple of places to restart from in a hurry, you know, and just look at all these things.
Right, what's your approach to the decel point and see if 230 comes up?
Yeah, okay, look, there's the decel point now. As we went past that last curve, you see now we've got the decel for, what's that, Lanark. See, it's come up.
But it's not doing the slow down.
But we're not worried about that, Mac. That's part of the VNAV stuff. We literally not worried.
I appreciate that, but
I appreciate what you're saying, but just remember that. Yeah. So anyway, we are worried. The task is very simple. We need to make sure that the circles are on the magenta line. The writing is there, and it comes up during the normal flight and then during the direct.
And you've got that decel for Lanark now, which wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's looking good.
Thousand to level off.
I'm just wondering why it ignored that 230 speed limit at TLN though, Nico? I know it's a VNAV issue, but we didn't used to have that.
Yeah, it's just part of where the code is at.
Yeah, true. Can you just go to the progress page for a
1000
second?
to level off.
There you go.
At the descent page? See, the 230 for LNAV is highlighted there. Okay, thank you. You can go back to your what you were doing, legs page. I'm going to make a prediction. There is no way you're going to make 240 at 250 at 10,000.
It's possible.
The reason I say that, Nico, the spacing for the decel points that you currently have are based on the fact that you were only doing 250 knots, whereas currently you're doing 278. Matt, that's because it's recognizing speeds with a B or an A after it. But we did change it in the leg stage before we set off in this instance.
I'm at AMS here. That is probably true. I think I recall seeing that as well. And this is, you know, a great opportunity while Zibo is rewriting the code, changing it from XLUA into C++, that we fix those kind of things.
And Zibo is aware of the problem, and we pointed it out to him several times, but we're getting LNAV done first.
Yeah.
Right, Nico, zoom in and see if there's any more green spots turned up yet. Now you've got rid of the D-cell ones.
It's going to be difficult because it's going to be behind us, so we'll have to extend it. And there's nothing. You can see there's no. It's just that decel point. There's no more top of descent for the next stage or anything there. And I mean that's a flight level 070 restriction over there, and then we have to have another TD there, but it's not being depicted. That TD for 7000.
Approaching transition. 1000 to level off.
So now we can't go to standard, off standard onto the local QNH until we've passed that LNAV restriction. So now we're just holding, and so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we took the B out earlier. It will get sorted.
Transition level.
So now you'll see on the fly how that VNAV path gets recalculated. Once we pass LNAV, it will jump up and then it will be above us again. There we go. So at this point in time, we can now go standard.
1000 to level off.
So now it needs to catch up again. Interesting.
And there's another green one populated, I think, Nico, ahead of you.
There's a decel there. There's the top of descent for 7000. Now it's there. Now it's there. Now it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
1000 to level
so,
off.
as I say, I think there's a list of how many items you can have on this list. Yeah.
Hendrik, my current wind is reported at 030 at 4 knots. So it should come from the front, and it's wind's calm, so it's it's irrelevant for us right now. We did have a very nice tailwind during takeoff. It was reported 8 knots, but I think I only saw 6 knots on the runway there.
If you explain to them, if it's within limits, we've disregarded the winds to a certain extent, purely because we were trying to replicate on the same test route.
Yeah, it had to be the same test route. But I love it. There's the TD for 7000. You can see it. There's your end of descent. There's your deceleration point. It's on the magenta lines. So during normal flight, I think we have a successful flight. Seeing what we need to see on the ND. Great work, Zibo.
1000 to level off.
What's the speed? What's the next speed restriction, Nico, showing in magenta out of interest?
None. There's none. No speed restriction.
Right. Well, what's the decel for then?
The decel would probably be to get yourself in order to start the top of descent.
Right. So you may want to go manual and turn it down, because 240 for that turn is probably too fast.
Yeah. Because on the FMC it's suggesting 210, which is a more reasonable.
Exactly. Yeah, that's flaps 1 speed.
Yes, we agree, Abby. Reneke? Renees? Renee? Kan ek 'n bietjie koffie kry asseblief?
If you want your co-pilot to stick a sock in his mouth and need you to
1000
get
to
on with
level
it,
off.
just say so.
No problem. I I've said it twice now already. It doesn't help. We keep on repeating it. I'm not concerned about the VNAV and the speed and anything of that nature. It's irrelevant for the test. All I wanted to see and what Zibo wanted to know is if the green stuff is there, the writing and the circles are in the right place. We need to
No,
test it
what
with...
I was thinking is if you were too fast, it wouldn't be able to fly the magenta.
Yeah, well, it actually
off.
overshot it the previous flight that I did, so I'm well aware of that happening, so... And there's the top of the descent coming now. There we go, so we're descending now again. My son's getting really excited here in the background. I hope he's not too loud that he interferes with the enjoyment of the stream. But he's playing some other shoot 'em up game again. Hendrik, we're going to test all of those things just now, so hold on to that thought. Once I've landed, and if my wife didn't make the cup of coffee, I'm gonna go make myself a cup of coffee, and then we're gonna start checking, you know, all the safe flights and then doing the different direct twos and stuff to make sure that we get the same writing on the system during each phase.
Speed for the next waypoint is 210.
Yeah, that's fine. We can actually just leave it like that. It's fine. It's on the border. Yeah, it looks nice, eh, Steve? Love it when a plan comes together.
The only reason for sticking to the speed limits as per the FMC, Nico, was to see whether it can do the turn and pass through CF05, okay?
Gotcha. Hendrik, that's fine. Enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching and the input you gave, eh? Appreciate it.
Flaps 5 set.
Check, it's going to CF05, no bypass.
That's what I found yesterday myself. By controlling the speed, it was going through it. Yeah.
These calculations are so nice. That is a very interesting thing that you mention. I'm at the AMS. I recall that very distinctly. So I wonder if it's got to do with the speed. You see, because we didn't have the bypass because we are slow enough. So I think it's all about the speed. That's what's the difference between yesterday and today, using the same model. It's freaky if you think about it, that the aircraft is so intelligent, it knows when it can make that turn or not.
1,000 to go.
This is looking really nice. I would like to have flown that at 210 as per the FMC speed and see if it can still do it.
Well, we can do it in one of the subsequent flights.
Okay. Because you went to flap 5, which reduce the speed to 170, but
Yep.
it's tracking it as it should.
Yeah.
This is better than it was the other day.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You got it, AMS. Exactly, Kent. Exactly.
Ahoy.
Hello, Oi.
You said that it's not bypassing Charlie Fox there?
No, it's going straight through it.
That's because we complied with FMC speeds or slower, Paul.
It still said bypass though. Did you not see?
No, I didn't see the bypass. What I see currently, Paul, is there. It's actually going to it. And look there. Sorry, it's now gone to the next one. It went through Charlie.
Yeah.
What's his name? So it was actually going to it. And then it's now going to that one.
It did say bypass immediately above that line though. That's why I've jumped on so quickly. Unless you were talking as if it wasn't.
I didn't see it, you see. I didn't look at the FMC because I was looking at the magenta on the ND.
And as I said to Mac a day or two ago, because the line goes through it still doesn't mean that it's not officially bypassing it. It's just hitting the centre line before it gets there.
Could be,
So,
could be.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Localizer capture. Glide slope capture.
It does fly through it though, as you rightly say.
Yeah.
We need Sato to. He's shown us what the real aircraft looks like. He'll have to tell us when the bypass disappears.
Yeah. Hello, Scotsman. I don't know if I said hello, but hello.
Anyhow, I hope you're all doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Sorry for being a bit
15
late.
set.
It's okay. No problem.
10 press-ups.
But how you'd be lucky. 5 looking askance as at you might be the best you get.
Flaps 30 set.
Right, guys, so just to recap on after landing, I just need a cup of coffee. So it seems my wife said she'll make it, but it hasn't arrived. I'll have to go help myself. Probably got busy with something. So we'll take like a 5-minute break or so, and then we're going to start using those safe flights and changing the direct to a few times, see what we can do. Then we can play with speeds and stuff. But the
Taxi
speeds,
lights on.
I think, is going to give us a skew indication because Zibo hasn't fixed VNAV yet. Yes, Kent. Absolutely.
Approaching 05.
Oh, something that's so noticeable today. It's not so hazy looking, is it, Paul?
Approaching minimums.
No, it's been challenging the past couple of days.
But the weather depiction here is quite good.
Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse unlocked. Auto brake in use.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
Yes, Calvin.
60 knots. Yet. Brilliant landing. Nice one, sir.
Awesome, Scotsman. Wow. I can imagine. Right, okay, I just want to get off the runway here and file it for the VA, and then we quickly take our 5-minute break, guys.
Sounds like a scheme.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure. After landing procedure completed.
Righto, okay. Gents, 5 minutes and we'll be back, and then we start testing all the different scenarios with direct to and so on. Okay. Check
Okay,
it just
Nico.
now.
So, Matt, give me a summary of what's happened over the past 50 minutes then.
Flaps up. And set.
Right, guys, I'm back. Michael, to answer your question, yes, I think it worked out quite nicely. We obviously brought down the speed a little bit and so on to assist, but yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do.
Do we need landing gear up? Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi lights off. Positive rate. Approaching transition. Transition altitude. TARA mode set. Stabilized. I really am looking forward to next weekend.
Right, just as a thought, Nico, can you go to plan mode? I just want to see whether, because you've lost some points, whether it's added any of the ones we expect after LNAV. Yeah, okay.
Oops, sorry, it was muted. Okay, so we were discussing the idea that we lost the top of climb and top of descent green circles with writing. Because during the climb, before we hit the actual cruise altitude, we did a direct to, which is something I get often in the UK. You stuck there at 6,000 foot, the next time moment is ATC guy just tells you go straight there and you can climb. So we'll have to see. Hello Yaku, by the way. So regardless of where we fly to, there must, in my mind, still be a top of climb and a top of descent.
1000 to level off.
Thousand to go.
Look, no top of descent. See? No top of descent. There's no top of descent.
Right, so when you do direct to and it negates, so now presumably it's not going to descend until it gets to Valanik even, unless
I don't know. We're gonna let it run and see because I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no guidance in the system that tells it
That's
needs
what
to
I'm
go
getting
down.
at. Yeah, yeah.
And if you go to VNAV,
I'm starving. A bri and a beer maybe.
look, you see that's not right. That should be filled in.
I agree. Yeah.
Ja, nee.
This will be interesting.
Mm.
I mean, on occasion, one of those points hasn't been marked, and yet it still has carried it out, hasn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
So, did you get the decel for TRN first time round?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's missing. Ah, the mouse has gone stuck again. Sorry, guys. Yeah, well, now this is something we can physically show on video to Zibo and say, look at this. The other day we asked him how many line of code does he have in the Zibo model already, and he said it's 1 million lines of code already. I wonder where it's at now, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months down the line. When did we ask him that day?
Oh,
That's a long time ago now.
Months ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of interest, Nico, the fact that the top of climb, top of descent, etc., all disappear, is that an LNAV matter or?
That's VNAV.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it may not be in the bit of code he's working on at the moment, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. He said he'll try and finish it this weekend, if I understood him correctly, so he's going to have a lot to do. But it's nice that we show him, you know, now we can point him to a specific point in time on the video and say, look, there, that's what happened. Yeah, and Scotsman, the fact of the matter is Zibo, Lubos himself, is the only coder, and he's written those codes line by line, all by himself.
And when we find a fault, one's got to think that he's got a photographic memory of all these lines as well, because he knows virtually instantly where to go and look for the problem.
Yeah. Okay, if we go past TRN, past that point, and it does not descend, then we know it's bugged, then we don't even have to continue. Okay, it's just messed up. We'll do the next flight. So I'm going to then spawn at flight number 3, which is in the cruise before top of descent, and then we need to see if it's still, if it will then identify top of descent.
It should be roughly 75 miles, shouldn't it?
Correct. Oh, I want to do something else before I stop this flight. If we go past TRN and it hasn't descended on its own, I'm going to use descend now and see what will happen, if it will actually find a path magically or not.
Well, because you've got 2,400 set, it should find a path all the way down to...
I want to see if it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, that coffee was nice. Well, it's gone through the deceleration point, so let's see. It's obviously not decelerating. Look, our whole VNAV line here, or the speed line, what do you call that thing? Whatever, that thing is gone as well, you see, look.
Yeah.
So VNAV is like non-existent.
Completely, yeah. And you're still at cruise speed, you haven't even slowed down to descent speed.
Nothing. So let's go past TRN and then we hit that descent now button, that one.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know this, descent now and altitude intervention, the button there just behind that white knob, that one, it's the same thing. Oh, look, it's now slowing down, look. Hello, Carl, my buddy. Thank you so much. Amazing, my friend. Thank you for the assistance there. And may you have a blessed day.
Nico, you didn't press the 250, did you?
No, I pressed nothing. I did
Right.
nothing. Whatever's happening is all automatic. Look, still
So
VNAV.
it's doing the TRN, it's coming down to TRN speed.
Yes.
Wow.
Carl Childers donated $25 through Super Chat.
Now it's different. It didn't take any notice of it when we did it in the original first flight.
Exactly. So it's like there's two separate sets of code. The one works this time, the one works that time. Zibo's gonna have some time.
Well, maybe because you've done a reload, it's reloaded all the elements of the program again, whereas when we executed it originally, it didn't reset the code at that time.
Who knows? Look. The moment I press descent now, our little VNAV bar is back, our VNAV path is back. You see, the moment we initiated, look there. Now all of a sudden everything has come back.
So you broke VNAV in effect.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Just goes to show, even the Zibo aircraft can be recovered.
Yeah.
Notice something, Nico.
What?
It's jumped back up to descent speed from the 250 as well.
Yeah, the 250 is now being ignored, and well, let's see what it does at Lanark now.
Anyway.
What, Uncle John?
I said chances are he knows about that anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's been
One could say this is a mystery tour.
Yeah.
Over to you for your thoughts, Paul.
This is a bit like my dive into Bristol yesterday evening.
I must admit, I haven't spoken to Nico about that. I'm not even going to try to explain that one to the audience here.
Michael, that's an interesting thing you say there. We might want to do that next. See what Michael says. We assumed it would reload everything, but if we were to go to the actual approach page and just reset the approach up, maybe that would also have triggered it. So I think what we're gonna do is let's go do it now. Let's go do it now. So we're gonna go for safe flight. That's what we want. I know, Kate. Yeah, appreciate that. So we're gonna do load flight number 2, and then the moment we press the direct 2 and things go wonky again, if it does, then we're gonna go check that approach page quickly. Why are we going down? We're still climbing. Why? Look. Okay, Cole, welcome, and thanks for the tip. If you didn't hear me, thank you before. Thank you so much. Come. Okay, so look, now with the reload of the saved flight, the top of climb is gone. See, there's no top of climb, but there's the top of descent. Now we go to blocker and execute. You see now TC and TD both gone. Let's go to the approach page. Yeah, it hasn't brought it back. Okay, okay, good try, but let's go for number 3 then.
Thousand to go. 1,000 to go.
Alright, so now we are in the cruise and there's top of descent, so we want to go to, let's use curva this time, why not? And execute. Ah, look at this, top of descent still remains. How's that? Those rings are there. So the problem is on the ascent side while we're still climbing. You notice, Mac?
Sorry, say it again.
I say, I did a reload. We're in the cruise phase. The previous test was in the climb phase, the ascending side. That didn't work. But look, there's TD. TD didn't go away.
Yeah. Right, now then, there's a question mark over that somebody raised, or I've noticed. If you don't get to top of climb, top of descent doesn't work, it disappears.
Yes, exactly. Michael, no, the landing shouldn't have anything to do with it. If we use a saved flight, it should have all the correct parameters.
So what happened then was, when you did it before, because you were still in the climb, the top of climb disappeared, and that as a result meant everything else disappeared.
Yeah, in succession. Yeah.
But it should have still continued to top of climb, presumably.
Well, it climbed until the MCP altitude, you know, and
that's
then
what I mean. Yeah.
It did, but it wasn't necessarily a VNAV climb. It was just a climb to MCP altitude. So anyway, okay, this looks better.
Out of interest, then, can you remember? Well, we'll have to wind back. Did it go to out hold before when it went to top of climb, or did it go to VNAV path? That's.
Oh, I don't know.
It shouldn't be in VNAV path if there's no top of climb.
Yeah. So rewind. Tell us.
Okay.
No, Steve, I didn't. And there's top of descent happening. We've got our bar. Everything is here. There's the top of descent for 15,000. So this appears to be absolutely normal from here on, but they didn't like the idea that we spawned during the climb process and then changed things during climb.
It went into VNAV speed, Nico, and lost VNAV path.
Completely, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm really not with it today.
Right, so I've shortened the route a little bit. We're obviously then a little bit high for VNAV path, so we're going to take our nose dive in style. We've still got the two little circles and they are on the magenta line, so that's cool. We've got the decel and end of descent.
What's that speed remind you of, Paul?
My dive speed into Bristol, yes.
Yes.
Trying to replicate that serious incident report that Max sent to me.
And the one I sent to you, Nico, as well.
Basically, a shortcut was offered and accepted, but there wasn't the track mileage to do it.
Aha. Okay, I'm going back to number 3, and then we'll fly the whole route and land and call it a day. That will be basically the last test. I just want to make sure that during normal in little brackets situation we actually have all the things pop up. So there we have top of descent again. Happiness is. So what we just need to make sure of now is that all the little green circles and writing comes up as expected.
Have you answered all Zibo's questions that he sent you then?
Yes, this will be the final test basically. So what I need to actually do now is go to a direct to. Almost made a mistake. So let's go to Blaka. Why not take that one? Execute. Okay, so we've now gone direct to. We've cut out one of the waypoints. In actual fact, we can do Curva as well. Go to Curva. Alright, so there's top of descent. So these were the questions that I couldn't answer. What happens to the writing and the circles after you go to a direct to? Does it appear in the right place at the right time? And this will be the last test basically then that we're gonna do. So we're gonna keep our eye on all the little circles and green text now. Scotsman, I stopped her just before she blew up there, eh? Set. Let's just put that right already. Okay. Right, this time I'm not going to slow down. I'm just going to let the actual flight plan in the FMC do its thing. And then we can also see how it handles that last turn and the CF05 and those things, Mac. Because then, I
Yep,
mean,
okay.
that's something nice to show Zibo that he can pay attention to when he does the VNAV code. So I'm just going to let it go. There's the top of descent for flight level 150. Ooh. That path looks a bit wonky. Look there. The magenta looks a bit weird. There, it's fixed. Wow. So it didn't load correctly.
Interesting. Mind you, we ask an awful lot of safe situation business, don't we?
Exactly, yeah, it retained the previous thing. It didn't overwrite it in the reload.
I love to fly.
Good to know, Linda.
$1,000 to level off. 1000 to level off.
No, this should be the ordinary normal plan right now. During the previous load it went wonky, but we fixed it. Unless you know something that I haven't picked up, Steve.
Okay, no decel there.
Thousand to level off.
We've got 250B back pull, that's why. That's why it didn't slow down for TRN. And
Yeah.
likewise for LNAV, you've got 230B still.
I see.
If you go back into the cruise page that should now have empty blocks, if you do put 150 in
1000 to
there,
level off.
then I think it decelerates for you. But you might just want to let it run, Nico, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna let it run. Remember, we're not concerned about anything VNAV at this point in time. No speeds, nothing in VNAV. Just want to see that the task is to see that those circles are on the line, that they actually appear, that the line don't disappear, that the waypoints don't skip, and that all the writing is in the right place.
Cool.
Enjoy. Just make sure you're on 16 at least, eh? Where's the descent now? Look at the turbulence, this cockpit shaking now all of a sudden. The wind seems stable, but I mean it's moving the aircraft quite a bit.
Good evening.
Hello, Sasso.
Ha 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 ha.
Nico, question for you in the
Yeah.
I'll let
SK-san, those represent the slowdown to enable you to transition 10,000 feet, so that you are supposed to be below 250 knots indicated airspeed. That's just what those things are for. How are you doing, Sasso?
All good, thank you very much. I'm just here for a bit. Tomorrow I have an early wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. A really long day ahead. I'm gonna fly the Max tomorrow. Sorry, the A200, not the Max.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be a very long day.
do you find noticeable difference jumping from max to 800 or not?
It's just much more stable. It's much more I don't want to say stable to fly, but you can feel there is a new kind of technique, a new speed brake. Even when you use the speed brake, you go down, but you don't feel the shaking as it is on the NG.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. The speed brake are completely different, and also you have the landing the speed brake landing actuation, which basically will help you to land nicely the aircraft, and the difference is noticeable.
That sounds so amazing.
Is it the same angles of deployment on the speed brake, or is presumably they've got to be the same size?
No, it's just something on the wing, I don't know, but the speed brake are completely different.
Do you find any feel difference swapping between the large screens and the smaller NG ones, or not?
Well, you notice the difference because it's a huge difference, but I don't want to say it's a problem. I mean, it's at the end the aircraft is absolutely the same. You just have one screen less, and the auto breaker just moved to the lower view. That's all it is. Then it's all the same. But it's very nice to fly, I have to be honest. Tomorrow is the forecast good weather overall. I'm gonna enjoy flying manually all the way.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Question, quick one. Have you ever come across that bypass feature in any of your routes at all, Sato?
I have I had when it was in the OT. I think I sent the picture in the debug.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that is actually one of the arrival we do every day, or is a very common one in Bergamo.
1000 to level off.
But we don't actually fly the full arrival because we get always the shortcut.
Right.
So I took the picture because I remember you told me we need to see how it looks like in the FMC, but then we don't actually fly over that point.
Okay, there's a question that crops up in this particular approach where the Zibo identifies a bypass, but by controlling the speed, it appears to fly over the waypoint. Now, if it can fly over the waypoint, does it still retain that bypass point, or does the word bypass disappear?
No, the word bypass will remain even if you slow down and you cross the point. The bypass will remain there just because the mind of the FMC says, I'm gonna bypass that waypoint. Then if the pilots or the autopilots reduce the speed and manage to fly over the point, that's another story.
1000 to level off.
Right, well, you'll be able to witness it here if Nico keeps going. And Zibo's flying it exactly as you just described.
And there's another question for you. Steve wants to know, is there a difference in the thrust between the NG and the 8200?
Absolutely yes, Steve. The engines are really, how can I say, they are very, very silent compared with the one of the NG, and the thrust required is less, is about 10% less in all configuration compared with the NG. So for a 60 tons aircraft, flap 30, on the NG, I'm looking for about 57% and 1. And for a flap 40 on the NG, I'm looking for about 63%. On the 8200, this value becomes 50% for a flap 30 and 55 for a flap 40.
Wow.
So it's less.
Wow.
1000 to level off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is the acceleration rate of the engines the same?
Yeah, that's all the same. Yeah. They are very long to start. Consider that only one
1000 to
engine
level
takes up to 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 14 to do a complete startup. That's very long. That's a huge amount of time. This means that to do a complete startup, it will take more or less 5 minutes in total.
That's all right. They can take
1000
you
to
to the
level
end
off.
of the runway then.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's a very nice aircraft. I have to be honest.
I'm glad, so really
Yeah.
glad.
Where are we now, Nico? Where are you flying to?
I'm going to land at EGPF Glasgow, and we've been flying
Alright.
this route over and over every day now for 3 weeks, trying to get LNAV to work and all
1000
the
to
new
level
code
off.
and all the rest. Go for it, Paul.
No, I was just chuckling along to the everyday part of it. Yes.
Eish.
We did a route, and the new LNAV code, it ended up to be a very good route for proving a lot of the LNAV stuff that needed to be checked out.
$1,000 to level off.
That's a wonderful bypass.
Yeah. If we control the speeds, then it flies
1000
right
to
bang
level
over
off.
it. But if we were to let it keep going at 240,
Of course,
it
that's
will.
normal.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it should be.
1000 to level
Yeah.
off.
Oh, we're not disputing that, but we were concerned as to if the bypass waypoint turns to magenta, whether the
1000
word
to level
bypass
off.
would disappear.
If you are going
Flaps
directly
one
to the
set.
point, then the bypass word will disappear. But before that, the bypass word will remain.
Well,
Yeah.
there it is on the screen now, Sasso, so just keep your eye on it, then we can get your input. No, we're not sick of Glasgow, I promise. And if this was real world, I would have come for coffee. So no, this is all par for the course and part of what we need to do.
Flying Scotsman, you can't really call yourself a Glaswegian if you're 20 miles to the right of the airport, sure.
Okay, Nico.
Yes.
Nico. Charlie Foxtrot 05. I'm looking at the speed. Is he 182 written there next to it? Charlie Foxtrot 05.
Yes, 182.
Okay, make it 180. Bravo, 180 below.
No, we
slash.
can't put a Bravo. We can't put a Bravo. That code is broken. The Bravo is not working at all.
Okay, he's bypassing the point because he's considering an overshooting.
I understand,
So,
yes.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. Don't worry, because you are going to be already with the flaps out and speed intervent open by that time. So even if you let everything as it is now in the FMC, you are a good pilot, so you are not going to overshoot. I mean, that's just what the pilot do.
Yeah. I'm letting it ride a little bit. I'm on flaps 1. I don't want to really go too much slower. Because
it's fine.
With the previous attempt, we did come down to 180 and it flew it beautifully and it went straight through it. Okay.
Absolutely.
But
do this try, Nico. Right.
You selected flaps. You selected flaps 5 before you, and that brought the speed down anyway.
I did. Go for it, Sasso.
Right, next to center fix 05, speed 175 slash.
CF05?
Yes, the one that says bypass. Perfect. The word bypass will remain, but if you follow the speed reduction,
Yeah.
I promise you that during the turn with 175 knots, you're not gonna overshoot that
I
point.
know. That's exactly
Yeah.
what we tested in the previous attempt. So
Yeah.
no, what you're saying is just confirming everything we've been saying, Sasa.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
I could
also
murder a cup of
confirming
coffee.
that the indication that the Zibo is
Would you care for
showing
one?
is accurate, which is we debated whether if it's going to, if the magenta for CF05 lit up, whether the word bypass doesn't disappear.
This is what we sorely missed. Sasa, we needed you.
I know, Uncle John, I know. Well, that's a good question. I'm 50% now sure, because if you look at the FMC at the moment, you are going directly to the point. So I'm not that sure that the word bypass should remain in the legs page at this point. I can understand until that one is the second point, but once that becomes the active waypoint, maybe the words should go away. I'm honest, I never checked, because we don't care too much about the bypass, because we just go with the speed control.
Right, you'll have to have a word with your boss and ask him if you can fly the full approach using...
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tomorrow I'm
1,000
going
to
to
level
Greece,
off.
and I'm gonna go into a procedural airport,
Flaps
so we'll
5
have to
set.
fly some kind of full approach or full arrival. So maybe I will have a try tomorrow.
I kind of thought that might be the case, Flying Scotsman. I know Inverness. Join, Vulkan rather. Join Nico's
Localizer capture.
Discord stream. We can have a chat there.
Yeah.
Altitude,
Sorry, Sarah.
the altitude, dial down the altitude so you don't level up.
I've clicked the approach button, so what will happen is we will level
Okay.
off, but obviously VNAV will kick in as the glide slope comes, or the glide slope will kick in if the glide slope comes. I'm getting
Yeah,
tired,
yeah.
sorry.
No problem, no problem. It's that we always do the continuous descent, so for me it's automatic to, even when you have this kind of approach, just for everybody, just find on the charts the point, the final approach point where the aircraft will intercept the glide slope. Make that point at altitude, and all the others make the altitude at or above. So you do a nice continuous descent approach, and you just never level off until you get established on the glide slope.
Yeah, for that to work for us right now, we're gonna have to finish version 17 and get it out to the guys, because A and B doesn't work in the current model.
Really?
It's broken.
No, it's
Well,
broken.
I always use the at or above at the waypoint.
Yeah, no,
altitude.
but remember now, in 16
Glide
it started
slope
to go a bit
capture.
wonky. In 17, Sasa, we have brand new code. Brand new. It's all been transferred from X2 to C++ and rewritten completely. So at this point in time, it's not working for us at all. Zibo needs to still fix it.
Okay, fine.
And
Flaps
he's aware
15
of
set.
the failure to meet the commitments for B's and A speed, so when he gets to the VNAV code, he'll sort it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Other than that, I must tell you something. I am thoroughly impressed. There are a couple of quirky things that happened that we picked up now, but you know, Zibo will fix it and then do his VNAV thing, and then we're okay.
And thank you for dropping by
Flaps
today,
37.
Saturn.
Yeah.
What a timely visit.
Very.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Absolutely, it's a pleasure as always. When I try, I'm here. You know, I had a full 2 months of hard work, I have to be honest. I've been always on the airplane, which was really good.
All you got to do now is find some time to spend all that money.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these
Yeah.
days we're gonna see him put a picture of a red Ferrari here.
1,000 feet, stabilize, missile approach.
Or the first
Taxi
thing
lights
will be, how can I upgrade my computer?
Probably, yes. That will be my question, probably.
Don't even think about it for another 12 months, Sasa.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope the situation will continue to stay. I mean, at least it don't get worse.
No, computer industry at the moment is a
Approaching.
nightmare.
0, 5.
Gentlemen, and if there are any ladies you two on the stream, if you guys want to join us on Discord, there's no money to be paid or anything. It's free to join, and you guys are more than welcome to come and sit and chill and relax with us. We have high standards, so we don't allow just anybody to muck it up here. But I mean, if you can, feel that you can handle it with us, then by all means join us. It's free. Come say hello.
And the banter goes on behind the scenes even when Nico isn't streaming.
Yeah, exactly. This server, this Discord is open 24/7. The guys from all over the
Nico.
world use it. Yes, yes.
Look at this aircraft. Look at your N1. It was 55%.
Yeah.
And I said 57 with flaps 30. That's how you can fly this aircraft.
Reverse unlocked.
It's an incredible
80
aircraft.
knots.
It is.
The
It is.
piston power as it flies.
81.
Yeah. Very
Stabilized.
low.
You've also got to twist,
60
I
knots.
mean, with this flight modelling and everything, I mean, the whole thing
Yeah.
has come together. It's
Brilliant
Very
landing.
nicely.
Nice one, sir.
3,000 feet.
Thanks,
remaining.
Cole. I have no idea what my landing rate would be. We can check it just now. You know what? In the beginning, I was so nervous when I started streaming and everybody was watching, and I didn't want to make a fool of myself, and all those million thoughts go through your mind and all. I don't even care if the guys keep on talking in the background, to be honest. I mean, if I do a bad landing, we all just laugh about it. Anybody that's followed me for a significant period of time knows that I'm capable of doing a proper landing. And we had such fun with the IXEG. I went to visit the pub. We landed in Halifax, and I couldn't get that thing to slow down. I couldn't get my throttles to latch onto the throttle. There's that little ghost image that come on. I just overshoot. We sat here laughing, and the guys were still laughing about it today. So bad landings.
Nico,
Yes.
but we were talking about the A200 and about the landing rate. I flew the other day the A200, and I got a funny text a couple of days after, and basically they have a new kind of software. I don't know how it is called. That basically they can record the landing rate.
Okay.
And I received an email and a text that the landing rate of my last landing on the A200 in Bergamo was minus 32 feet per minute.
Wow.
I was like, what the hell?
Oh my goodness.
That's butter. Definitely.
That was good.
That was high class, pure butter.
Yeah, I mean, I had the feeling it was good because there was a guy that told me, my girlfriend, my friend, like woke me up because I didn't realize. And I was like, yeah, it's the new aircraft, it's not me. And then I had the text minus 32 feet. I was like,
wow.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
By the way, Carl, I think Nico's maybe has some female tendencies. Sometimes he goes hard of hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought the same.
It's called selective hearing, yeah. After landing procedure.
Sasso, is it still considered bad
After
to
landing
land
procedure.
very light like that?
Not with the new aircraft, with the brand new carbon brakes.
Stabilized.
They brake like wonderful. Like you can stop in 900 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, you can feel the brakes coming in. It's not an hard braking, but just the brakes working beautifully. So you don't really need.
Do you see that South American airline?
After
They're
landing procedure
having
completed.
all their 800s fitted with carbon brakes. They're actually doing an update mod.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
What's that? What's it?
Copa.
Nico? Copa, yeah. That all their 800s are all being upgraded to carbon brakes.
Oh.
They say the maintenance costs and everything warrant it.
Amazing.
It could be. Yeah, absolutely.
Flaps up.
No, but
And
again,
set.
it's very wonderful. It's a wonderful aircraft to fly.
Pleasure,
Very
Steve.
nice.
What about carbon brakes if it was a very wet runway? Would you suggest that you need a heavier landing than -30s then?
Well, the thing is that is not a matter of floating, you know, because -37 or -32 or whatever can simulate a floating maneuver or something similar. So you eat lots of runway and then you touch down. In this case, with the Max, it was like, no, I touched down at the right place. So even if it was wet, who cares? We have 2,500 meters of runway.
Yeah,
And
I was
we
just
like
thinking.
Yeah. No,
I was just thinking if it was so light, would it have the tendency to go into aquaplane mode? That was all.
Well, yeah, you may do a little bit of aquaplane. For sure, if the runway is wet, I will use the reverse, just to help the braking maneuver, okay? If it's dry, maybe I can even go idle reverse. But if it's wet, for sure I will go second detent, just
So
to help the braking.
So with carbon brakes, it negates the need for reverse thrust?
Well, carbon brakes are more prone to heat quite quickly, okay, to reach high temperature. So the thing is, when you land in some places with already a high outside temperature, you need something to help the brakes not to go too high in temperature.
Okay.
So you just use the reverse to help the braking maneuver.
So guys, that's it. I'm just gonna look for this landing right quickly, and then we'll call it a night. Carl, thanks for your input there, much appreciated. Sasso again, and everybody watching and chatting with us, guys. It was amazing. Thank you so much. Better landing rate this time, -190. The previous one was 266. This is 190. So, you guys go have a wonderful rest of your Friday. We'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll catch up on any changes that happened overnight and all. Thank you for your support. Yeah, Carl, you are a star, my friend. You're a star. You did it. You win a free copy of version 17 of the Zibo mod. I'll put it in Google Drive for you. Thank you for your contribution, Carl. Mac, yeah, guys, thank you. We'll talk tomorrow. Be safe. Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again, Sasso, for coming in.
Oh, thanks, Sasso.
Pleasure.